Hello, this is a review for adding and subtracting mixed numbers. The first problem we're going to do is adding mixed numbers first. So I'm going to do the problem 1 2/5 plus 2 1/5. So the first step when adding mixed numbers is to add the fraction first. So I'm going to add 2/5 plus 1/5, and that is going to get me, just like we reviewed before, the denominator stays the same, and we just add across. 2 plus 1 is 3. The next step is adding the whole numbers. So we need to add 1 plus 2, which we could probably do in our head to get 3. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So then we just need to put our our whole number and our fraction together to get our final answer. So we're going to get 3 3/5. The next one I'm going to use our chart for. So we're going to be on the adding side, adding mixed numbers. So the first step is to write the problem. So I'm going to do 2 4/5 plus 1 2/5. Okay, so we got step 1. We wrote the problem down. The first thing we have here is to add the whole numbers. 1 plus 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. The next thing we're going to do for this is add the fractions. 4/5 plus 2/5 is going to get us 6/5. If the fraction is not improper, we can stop. But since it is improper, which means the numerator is bigger than the denominator, we need to keep going. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and bring the improper fraction down, 6/5. And we're going to subtract out a whole. So a whole, if our denominator is 5, is going to be 5/5. So again, the denominator stays the same. 6 minus 5 is going to get me 1. Okay, so now my fraction for this part of the mixed number is going to be 1/5. Our last step is to add the whole to whole. Okay, so in the triangle, we see the same triangle up here where we added the whole numbers. So we're going to put 3 plus the whole that we just took away. We need to regroup over. So plus 5/5, which is equal to a whole. So 3 plus 1 whole is going to get us 4. So our final answer is going to be 4 1/5. All right, let's go ahead and move to subtraction. So the first one we're going to try is 3 3/6 minus 1 2/6. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is subtract the fractions. 3/6 minus 2/6. Our denominator stays the same. 3 minus 2 is going to get me 1. And my next step is to subtract the whole numbers. 3 minus 1 is going to get me 2. So my final answer is going to be 2 1/6. All right, and our last subtraction problem is going to be 4 1/5. I'm using the chart again, but on the subtracting mixed fraction side. So the problem I'm going to use is 4 1/5 minus 2 3/5. So right away when I write that problem, I see that this fraction is smaller than this fraction. So I know that I'm going to need to borrow to make the fraction large enough to subtract from. Okay, so step 1, borrow from the whole number, which we saw we needed to do. So we're going to put the whole number down, 4, okay, and take away one whole. We know the denominator is 5, so the top number is also going to be 5 to get us one whole. So 4 minus 5 over 5, which is 1, is going to get us 3. And then we're going to move down to the next step. Add the whole number to the fraction, okay? So the whole number we took away, we want to add it onto the 1/5 to make it large enough. So 5 over 5 plus the original fraction up there is 1/5. Denominator again stays the same, so we get 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, so now that fraction is large enough that we can subtract a second fraction from it. Step 3, subtract the fraction. So we have 6/5. Just going to bring that down, minus the second fraction, right here, 3/5. Denominator stays the same. 6 take away 3 is 3. Okay, and finally, we need to subtract the whole numbers. So I see this box right here. I also see it here. So that tells me I need to put the 3 down here. 3 minus the next whole number. Let's look at the second fraction, is 2. 3 minus 2 is going to get me 1. So my answer is going to be right here on our chart. 1 3/5. 1 3/5.